Good afternoon, Gab. Good afternoon. This is Bear County Severe Weather with a quick radar update at 6:51. As you can see, we have the radar running. Right now, we're watching a strong cell basically traveling up Castroville towards Rio Medina. It is showing some interesting things on its current path. It looks to pass by near the Cross Mountain, Bernie, Leon Springs area. At the moment, if you're closer to town, you're probably seeing some clouds going up and it's getting dark. It looks like the storm is traveling mostly to the north, so it'll be bringing some kind of hail for you right now. We're going to leave the radar running for the time being. Again, the time is now 6:52, and we have a strong cell on radar to the west of the city. It is still not look. Its path looks to take it north of the city, but if you're at the northwest part of town, you may be affected by it. We'll keep you updated as things develop. Thank you. All right. The time is 7:02 p.m. Central Day Central Daylight Time. We are watching as the Storm Prediction Center has issued a severe thunderstorm watch until 11 p.m. Right now, we're watching the cell as it approaches the northwest side of San Antonio. Areas include Castroville, San Antonio Airport, Leon Valley, Helotes, Kirby, Alamo Heights, Terra Hill, Sharonell Park, Cross Mountain, Alamos Park, Lacoste, Lackland Air Force Base, the Dominion, SeaWorld, Leon Springs, Government Canyon, Castle Hills, Balcones Heights, and Hill Country Village. You may see some penny-sized hail and winds over 40 miles per hour. The storm is not severe, but severe thunderstorm watch has been extended south towards us. We'll go live if we need to later on. Thank you.
Hey everybody, this is Bexar County Severe Weather. Just to let you know that we have now received a severe thunderstorm warning in effect for the areas you see in red in this box, which includes Elotes, Dominion, Timberwood Park, Stone Oak, Garden Ridge, Hollywood Park, Castle Hills, Leon Valley, Lackland Air Force Base, just north and a portion northern areas of downtown. Alamo Heights looks like you're included as well. Let's zoom in. Kirby, you're not included. Windcrest, you are. Live Oak and Universal City and Selma. Shabano Park, Hollywood Park as well. Hill Country Village, you're all included in the severe thunderstorm warning that has just been issued until 8:15 p.m. for this cell that's right here. Let's go ahead and bring up the estimated times that show that Leon Valley within the next 15 minutes or so will be affected. Medical Center, Castle Hill, Shavano Park, Hill Country Village, Hollywood Park, and Stone Oak. You guys are in the line and path of this severe thunderstorm that has now just been issued for warned, has been severe warned, should I say, and it is mostly for hail and the potential of some very gusty winds along with it, but mostly for the severe hail. As a matter of fact, let's look at the base velocity, not seeing too much wind associated with this. Maybe on the north side, but the actual warned cell's not showing too much wind. So definitely this looks to be more on the hail side. Let's look at the estimated hail size potential. So we have some really big hail potential uh, to the northwest, and we just now have another severe thunderstorm warning that has just been issued that covers generally the areas to our northwest, the extreme northwest areas. This would probably include Gray Forest, just west of Elotes. But you have also another severe thunderstorm warning that's just been issued, potentially for this big cell that's dropping some mammoth hail to the northwest side. So severe thunderstorm warning for that side. Let's look down here, and we're looking at maybe potentially 1-inch hail right up on 1604, just north of Highway 90. Looks like we have a pretty good cell. Reason why we're under severe thunderstorm warning for this, showing a pretty good cell dumping up to 1-inch hail. Let's get down in here and let's actually do some streets. Actually, it's not what I want. We want to do streets. So if you're on 1604 and Petranco, you're right in the core of that hailstorm that is dumping up to 1. And let's see if we can pinpoint that here. About 1-inch hail, 1.5-inch, almost 1.5-inch hail, right by 1604 in Petranco. If you're in that general area, you're probably getting hail right now. And if you are seeing any hail of any size, please use EWX Spotter if it's safe to do so on Twitter. And so we're going here up a little bit. And we're going to focus really on this general area right here. And we apparently see additional activity just to the west of the county line, also showing almost potentially 2-inch hail based on radar estimates. Let's go ahead and look at reflectivity again. And we're watching this storm closely right here that may be dumping up to 1-inch hail. I'm going to turn that off here so that we don't get that in the way. And let's see if we can turn that off right now. Spatial, there we go. Turn that off for now. There we go. So again, we're seeing the potential for some pretty good hail right around. I'm trying to clear this thing. Trust me. There you go. Right here, based moving northeast. And if you're in Leon Valley Medical Center, Castle Hill, Shavano Park, Hill County Village, Hollywood Park, and Stone Oak, you're in the path of the storm that's producing up to maybe 1.5-inch hail as it continues to move northeast. We now have a newly issued severe thunderstorm warning just to the northwest, covering areas just to the extreme northwest. So Gray Forest, you're probably under that as well. And again, for that area, you're looking at Bernie at 737. So if you're in Kendall County and Bernie, you're looking at a potential severe thunderstorm warning. I'm sorry, potential severe hail of 1.5 inches or more, potentially hitting that particular area at around 7:37. Again, our concern is this severe thunderstorm warning that's been issued for the generally central areas of Bexar County. Again, moving towards the northeast. And if you happen to be in this general area, um, you should definitely keep an eye for that. We're getting already some reports of Petranco and 211. Looks like an inch and a half almost on the severe report there that we're getting. Again, if you happen to be in the area of 1604 and Petranco, down here, real quick, we'll zoom in one more time. If you happen to be in this general area right here, you're pretty much getting at least an inch to an inch and a half inch of hail. Now's a good time if you haven't if you're in the surrounding areas. Now's a good time to stick that car in the garage and stay away from any windows. Leon Valley, you're up next, as well as the medical center and Castle Hills. You're getting fair warning as we speak that this severe thunderstorm is moving to the northeast and is already dumping, and we have reports of it already dumping 1 inch to 1.5 inch hail. I'm going to bring up potentially any storm reports that may be coming in. At this point, we're not getting any storm reports, so if you happen to see any hail of any size, as you can see, we're showing here what we're seeing here, penny size hail, but we're also seeing up to 1 inch and 1.5 inch hail. So again, if you happen to see that kind of hail, please use the EWX spotter hashtag on Twitter to go ahead and report that, so that way we're letting the National Weather Service know that the type of hail that is falling in case they need to continue to warn downstream. We still have this heavy area of rain and storms down to the south towards Castroville, just south of Castroville. We're going to put this radar in motion. You can kind of see how these storms are just moving generally to the east northeast. What's interesting is this cell seems to be kind of splitting and kind of remaining stationary. So that's going to be an issue we're going to have to continue to contend to watch, as this storm appears to have just stayed stationary for a second. That could also be bringing some additional not only hail, but some additional rains to this area. Even though the actual storm is being pinpointed here, we're actually seeing some pretty good echoes just to the west of there, right on the border of Bexar County. So right in here, if you happen to be, let's go bring that back up and see if we can bring this spatial tool and see if we can get it to work again. Go ahead and see if we can get this to actually bring up the start. So if you're by the edge of the county and by Holloman Parkway, Cardigal Song, Peach Meadow, and Petranco Road, you're right underneath some potentially pretty big hail, as well as down in this area by 1604 and 151. Again, if you're in these general areas, watch out for some very heavy, large hail of up to 1.5 inches that may be potentially falling. Again, if you happen to see that, please report that using the EWX spotter hashtag. Again, Leon Valley, Shavano Park, Medical Center, Castle Hills, Hill Country Village, Hollywood Park, you're all on the path of this potential storm that maybe it's already dumping some pretty good hail already. So if you have not put your car inside in the garage and taken the necessary precautions to stay away from windows, do so now. Now is a great time to take care of that. And then this storm over here continues to push to the northeast, and looks like Bernie is still in its path. So again, if you happen to be in the extreme northwestern sides of Bexar County, you have a severe thunderstorm warning right in here going towards the burning area in Kendall County. So again, if you happen to be in that general area, be aware that this severe thunderstorm for potential hail of up to 1.5 inches is headed your way. And we have, it looks like, an additional hail report here. So again, this is the kind of hail that we're seeing across far west San Antonio. Again, that looks to be golf ball, just a tad, maybe even ping pong size hail. So this is not something to just, sneeze at, guys. This is some pretty good hail that's falling that can damage your car and or windows, potentially even the roof. So again, this particular cell right in here is actually showing, and let's go ahead and bring up that maximum estimated hail sizes here. So let's go ahead and just kind of bring these up again. So yeah, we're going 1.6 right on the edge of Bear County. This particular cell is dropping about almost 1.5 right on just on 151 to the east of 1604. And then this one here is actually becoming a monster, apparently, according to radar, just north on 211, just north of 90, heading towards 1604. If you happen to be in this particular area, looking at some pretty good hail estimates, at least radar is indicating at least 1.8, almost 2-inch hail. And then we have an additional cell down to the north of Castroville, dumping at least 2.1, 2.2-inch hail, radar estimated. So again, these guys right here are the ones to watch as they continue to push. And let's see if we can put that in motion. You can see how they're continuing to push to the northeast. So again, if you're in this general area that's in the severe warned area, look for up to 2-inch hail that may be approaching the county, but at least 1.5 to almost 2-inch hail by these two cells right in here as they continue to move northeast. Again, right in this area, 151 and 1604, and then right here by Petranco, right on the edge, right north of 211. We've already shown you some imagery that already verifies some pretty big hail already falling. These are hailers that are occurring based on these cells that have formed next to a dry line. And this is essentially what happens when the cap that we were looking at and monitoring throughout the day and afternoon hours, apparently the cap was eroded enough to allow these two discrete cells to form, and thereby causing quite a bit of hail. We're not looking at anything other than potential hail, maybe some gusty winds. I'm going to bring up the meso just to be safe and bring up any kind of storm relative physicity values. We have some pretty low values down here, so I'm not really looking at any kind of potential tornadic activity with this cells that are approaching and coming through the Bear County area. What we're more concerned with is the actual hail that's already been reported and continues to continues to move northeast. Again, we're going to go ahead and actually put the ETAs again if we can. And again, 745 for Leon Valley, 750. These are approximate. 750 for Medical Center, 759 for Castle Hills, 802 Shabano Park, 808 for Hill Country Village, Hollywood Park at 811, and Stone Oak at 816. Should this storm continue to push off to the northeast in the current intensity and speed? These are the estimated times for this storm right here. Again, if you live in the extreme northwestern areas of Bear County and or right on Bernie, about 7:45. You get about 20, 19 minutes, 18 minutes or so before this particular cell here may affect your area, and it has been warned for at least 1.5 inch of hail with that system. Again, the one we're watching that expires at 8:15. This cell right here, let's go ahead and put it into motion, and we can see how it's just kind of hanging there for a little bit. So quite a bit of hail falling in this general area right in here. This area right in here is just getting pummeled for what looks like the storm is just kind of hanging in there for a second. So this general area right in here, let me zoom in just a tad, if we can get rid of that right there, and we zoom in just a tad. So essentially right north of 90, right before 1604 on 211. Unfortunately, you're just getting pummeled with this particular cell that's just merging with the one underneath it by Lacoste. And whatever hail you're experiencing, it looks like it's going to continue as the cell slowly looks like it's pushing to the northeast. Again, let's look at the cities that could be affected, or should we say the areas. So again, Leon Valley, 747, Medical Center, 752, Castle Hills, 801, Shabano Park, 804, Hill Country Village, 810, Hollywood Park, 812, Stone Oak, 818. If you have not put your vehicle in your garage, now is a great time to do so. And if you are stuck next to a window or anywhere outside, now is a good time to start seeking some shelter. If you're driving around, look for a potential convenience store or gas station with a roof or even a car wash. Do not park under an overpass or a bridge, as that may hinder any potential first responders responding to any kind of an emergency, do us the favor of parking somewhere else so that first responders are allowed to do their job to help out people in need. We also want to remind you that we are under a severe thunderstorm watch, this red shaded area that I just pointing out here. This watch is in effect until 11 p.m. for hail up to 3 inches, winds up to 70 miles an hour. It's not a particularly dangerous situation, but we are on under that watch until 11 o'clock, and that includes Bexar County right in here. So again, that's something to keep in mind that once these storms leave and hopefully they weaken as the night progresses, we still remain under that severe thunderstorm watch until 11 o'clock tonight. If you have any questions, if you want to like to report anything in your comments, again, we suggest you use EWX Spotter to report that on Twitter. But if you happen to have any comments or any reports that you want to comment on, we'll be happy to display them on this stream as well. We're monitoring both our comments here, our comment stream, as well as the live stream as it's continuing, as the situation continues to unfold. Let's look at some lightning. Are we seeing quite a bit of lightning here? Yeah, we're seeing some pretty good lightning as well. Again, stay away from windows as lightning is also a pretty good killer, and we don't definitely need anyone to become a statistic. So quite a bit of lightning also accompanying these storms as they continue to push off to the east northeast. And let me see if I can get you a um, general feel of how fast these storms are moving. It looks like they're moving about 25 to 40 miles an hour, depending on the actual storm itself. The one to our north, heading towards Burney, looks like it's moving toward the north northeast at around 35 miles an hour. It looks like the one that's severe warned just to our southwest, just now moving into the county on the western side, is going 46. The one central is about 18. So varying speeds for these particular cells, but they continue to essentially move to the northeast at around 20 to 40 miles an hour, depending on the cell you're looking at. Again, our main concern is this cell right here that's already reporting potentially up to 1.5, although we're already getting some radar estimates of up to 2 inches, 2-inch hail diameter possible, especially on the western side. We've already seen some reports of that. We also have quite a bit of lightning associated with that storm or both cells. So again, be very aware of that. Don't stand outside, try to take a picture of the storm, especially with the lightning that's occurring. Not quite a lot of lightning. We're getting about 58 or so strikes or so that are certain counted. So it's not an intense strike lightning storm kind of thing, but there still be aware that there's lightning strikes and they can strike out of the blue. You can be 15, 20 miles away from the storm and still be struck by lightning. So be aware of that. Where it looks like we're going to show something here. And if not, Martin's maybe on board, hopefully.
Yeah, hey, I got a quick update for you. We got
Sure.
a urban and a small stream flood advisory for western Bexar County. It looks like the entire western side of Bexar County until 10:30. Because so far it looks like up to 2 inches of rain have fallen in Burney, Castroville, Leon Valley, Helotes, Fair Oaks Ranch, Bulverde, Chavano Park, Hollywood Park areas. They're saying that up to another inch to 3 inches can be expected in the next couple of hours. So we got a flood advisory going on as well.
Okay, now as you know, we've had some pretty heavy rains lately as well. So these two cells are jumping, according to radar, up to 5 inches, almost 5 inches, or over 5 inches an hour in the very central area of that. And then this is why we have that advisory. Wouldn't doubt if that may be promoted upward, but right now we're looking at this cell almost dumping, almost, according to radar, almost 6 inches of rain per hour right in this dark blue area. Obviously, it diminishes as we go off a little bit on that. But be aware by 1604 and 151, you're getting some pretty heavy rains right as we speak. So essentially the area where the hail has been falling. Now, some of this may be skewed by some of the hail falling as well, but still be aware that there could be some pretty heavy rain, and thus the flood advisory has been issued for that area as we continue to watch. Let's look at, now that we're here, let's look at the hail size potential. We're going to use another radar loading up this frame. And let's see what this particular radar saw in the fall. 1.5 potentially here. 1.5 as well. Give a little bit over an inch on this particular radar. Let's look at the overall tracks. that this particular storm has, and we'll put it into motion a little bit so we can kind of see how these storms, and actually let's give it a little bit more time to see kind of the evolution of how these tracks have started and kind of progressed and how they're moving. As you can see, they're kind of just focusing on this general area by 211 right north of 90 and west of 1604, right in this general area. Let's go ahead and bring that up just a little bit more. But you can kind of see that it's just kind of sitting right in this general area. So if you're just way on the western side of Bexar County, right on 211 north of 90, just be aware that there's some pretty good pocket of hail right there, and it continues to spread to the northeast. So let's go back to reflectivity and turn off this particular radar now. And again, we continue to watch these two severe cells. Looks like they've kind of merged a little or separated a little bit. Before they were kind of one cell, and now it looks like they've kind of devised their own separate ways. But again, it looks like this particular cell continues to maintain its intensity as it continues to move to the northeast. Let's go ahead and get some actual estimated times for its arrival. Again, if you're in Leon Valley, 754, or in the surrounding area, Medical Center, 758, 808 for Castle Hills, 811 Shavano Park, 817 Hill Country Village, 820 Hollywood Park, 825 Stone Oak. Again, it's for this cell that already has a history of dropping some pretty good hail on the western area. I'm going to see if we're not getting any storm reports yet. We are starting to get storm reports of at least 1 inch hail just to the east of 1604, and we've got 1.5 inch hail just on the western side. I'm going to keep the storm reports active just to kind of see what kind of storm reports we're getting. Again, if you're seeing any kind of hail, whether it's pea size all the way to quarter to ping pong or whatever, please report that on EWX Spotter so that we can go ahead and have the National Weather Service be aware of that. Sorry, we've been asking for your comments here. So on Petranco Road outside 1604, it hailed pretty good, marble size, and now it's just windy, pouring rain. Thank you for your report, Shanti Universe. We appreciate that. And here it looks like golf ball size hail is being reported by Bernie. A little difficult. Yeah, there you go. You can probably see it with the pool right in there. We're getting some golf ball size hail. So if you're in Kendall County on Bernie's side, be aware that this storm is dumping up to golf ball size hail. Might want to be aware of that and put your vehicle in the garage or in shelter. Stay away from windows. If you're out traveling, try to find some shelter in convenience stores, roof, or inside a a car wash somewhere, but nowhere near a bridge or overpass, please. Let's keep those open for first responders. Again, this particular cell right here is the one we're watching as it continues to move to the northeast. Not seeing any kind of potential diminish here. And I'm going to check something here. That looks very suspicious. So let me look here. That could be potentially a hail spike. So potentially a hail spike right here on the edge, which means that this particular cell is dropping some pretty good hail. Could be a potential hail spike. We'll keep monitoring that. But that just basically verifies that some pretty good hail is falling in this general cell. Again, now affecting 90, 211 apparently, 1604 by 151. You're getting a pretty good cell right in there. Pretty good dousing, potentially some hail as well as we see some pink right in here. Leon Valley, you're starting to see some heavy activity. Medical Center as well is now approaching I-10. Be aware that this heavy activity is moving in your direction. Lackland, you're getting some moderate rain as we speak, but additional heavy rain is to your southwest as we continue to push this in motion. If you're riding on 410 loop by 90, you're right now in some moderate rain, but additional heavy rain is moving in your direction, potentially containing some hail. Let me bring up see if the radar is identifying any kind of hail signature. potential here. Not seeing that, but we are still seeing some reports. A little bit of hail. The radar is detecting at least 1.5 inch hail on the western side with this heaviest activity. And again, not seeing much on the northern side, but let's go ahead and bring up the estimated hail size. So again, yeah, just towards the south. Again, the area that's been already hit and continue to get hit continues. So on the west side of 1604 on Highway 9, just south of 90, looking at almost 2 inch hail, according to radar that it's estimating. Almost 1 inch hail over here by 1604, and almost to the south of 151. So if you're in this area, you're looking at almost 1 inch hail. If you're on this area, 90 and 1604 to the west southwest of that, you're looking at almost 2 inch hail based on radar estimate. So keep that in mind that as this activity continues to move to the northeast, areas around Lackland, Leon Valley, Balcones Heights, Castle Hills, you could be affected as this storm continues to push off to the east northeast. So let's go ahead and bring up the actual reflectivity again. Let's bring that up. Let's put it into motion, and you can see that now we have two separate discrete cells. This one's about to hit Bernie, and as you saw earlier, some golf ball size hail was reported. So you might want to be taking cover as you speak now in Bernie. However, we're continuing to watch this particular cell down here to the south of that cell as it continues to move to the northeast. Seeing some reports of hail. Again, on the west side, we're seeing some reports of hail of 1.5 inches and 1 inch here. Again, if you see any kind of hail outside and if it's safe to do so, please use the EWX spotter hashtag on Twitter to go ahead and report that. If you can, time, event, and location, along with, if you can, a picture to verify. And a good photograph or a good report would be the hailstone next to a quarter or next to a ruler or something that is of universal size. Marble would not be a good one, but for example, a golf ball would be a good example to display the hail next to, or quarter, a dime, a penny. Anything that's consistent size is a good report, in case you don't have a ruler or something to measure with. Again, so we're really concerned about this particular cell down right in here that is dumping up to 1.5 inch hail that's already been reported, and it's headed towards Leon Valley, Shavano Park, um, Hill Country Village, Hollywood Park, Stone Oak, Dominion. Looks like Elotes, you're right now in the clear. It's going to pass to your east. I'm going to put that in motion. You've had some heavy rain potentially. Don't see that you may have had any kind of um, hail come down your end. But let's look at here. It looks like, let me just look like they're okay. They're just curtailing. Okay. I thought for a second they were getting rid of the severe thunderstorm warning, but all they've done is just moved it forward. So pretty much all of Kendall County is under severe thunderstorm warning. I know we're Bexar County severe weather, but if our neighboring county is affected and it's life threatening, we're going to cover that as well. So if you're in Kendall County, there's a severe thunderstorm warning that's been issued, or should I say now extended, to most of the county for now. 1 3/4 inch hail and 60-mile-an-hour winds possible with this particular cell that's moving to the northeast right here. So if you're in Kendall County around Bernie and just now passing Bernie, but if you're anywhere in the Kendall County area, Sisterdale and so forth, be aware that you have a severe thunderstorm warning now in effect with hail up to 1 3/4 inch possible for that area. We continue to monitor the storm over here to our south now, showing up to 1 1/4 inch hail possible as it continues to move to the northeast. So now it looks like Leon Valley. Let's go ahead and bring this up. Shavano Park, it looks like 8:05 for you in terms of potential arrival for this heaviest activity. Hollywood Park as well at 8:17, Stone Oak 8:24, Timberwood Park now at 8:37. As this storm continues to push to the east northeast, looks like now the areas down here by 90 and 211 are starting to get a little bit of a rest in terms of any kind of heavy rain and or hail activity that was earlier reported. Again, we are under a severe thunderstorm warning for this cell right in here until 8:15, with hail potentially up to 1.25 inches. And as I zoom out, let's go ahead and bring up just a reminder that we are under a severe thunderstorm watch until 11 p.m. for maximum hail potential of 3 inches and maximum wind gusts of 70 miles per hour. Not potentially seeing any tornadic activity possible, but can't rule it out if we're already under severe thunderstorm watch. It's isolated chance potential, but right now it looks like hail is going to be the main threat for this activity. And again, I'm just trying to verify if this is actually a hail spike, or actually two of them now, or if that's just some residual rain that's falling on the backside. Let me go ahead and see if something helps here. Bear with me now. I'm just trying to satisfy my curiosity, but that's kind of looking like a hail spike. We'll just continue to monitor, but the cell continues to push off this to the east northeast. By the way, this is, in case you're all wondering, getting geeky, this correlation coefficient, it's just a radar mode that's indicating anything in red is essentially meteorological. It's rain or hail or some kind of moisture. Anything in blue is non-meteorological. So this is one way, for example, we can tell if, for example, we're seeing rain or bats, or if there is no tornado. Okay, so I'm just making an example. There are no tornadoes in Bexar County, but if should it be a tornado in Bexar County, we would definitely potentially see a debris ball that would be blue, showing that. But again, let me reiterate, there is no tornado warning for Bexar County. That was just an example. So again, we're going to go back to reflectivity. Again, we just have a severe thunderstorm warning for this cell right here, moving to the east northeast between 20 and 40 miles an hour, with the potential of up to 1.25 inch hail, good enough to at least put dents in your vehicle. If you haven't done so, go ahead and put your car in the garage. And we're apparently now seeing some additional hail that's being reported just north of Leon Valley. It looks like a 0.3 inch hail there. So definitely, hopefully this means the storm is starting to weaken and we're not starting to see that much hail as we were earlier. But we are getting 0.3 inch here, just riding 16 to just northwest of via Leon Valley. Yeah. So hopefully that means hopefully that storm is starting to weaken a little bit, but it could just be the leading edge that's moving through. Let's go ahead and bring up the times again. So again, if you're in Shabano Park, 808 is the estimated ETA for you. Hollywood Park, 821. Stone Oak, now it's 827. Timberwood Park, 841. For this severe cell that's moving to the east northeast. Again, if you're seeing any kind of hail, wind damage, very, very heavy rains, or any kind of potential flooding or anything like that, feel free to, and if it's safe to do so, report that using the EWX spotter hashtag on Twitter. But let's continue to watch this storm as it pushes to the northeast. And again, Castle Hills, Balcones Heights, Hollywood Park, Stone Oak, Timberwood Park, you're all in this path of this severe storm that apparently has been dumping up to 1.5, with radar estimating 2-inch hail in its history. As it continues to push off to the northeast, east-northeast, the storm to our northwest is essentially now moving off into Kendall County, so we're not too concerned. There may be some residual light rain and moderate rain potentially over here on the northern areas by just north of Timberwood Park, but that is moving to the northeast, so we should be okay with that. What we need to worry about on the north side is this guy down here, this cell down here that's dumping some pretty good hail, potentially up to 1.25. And again, we're by Shabano Park, Leon Valley, Balcones Heights, Castle Hills, Hill Country Village, Hollywood Park. If you're in or around these areas, you are under severe thunderstorm warning for this cell that is dumping potentially up to 1.25 inch hail. The heaviest activity seems to be wrapped around between 1604 and 410. Right in here is what looks like to be the heaviest activity in terms of rain and or hail. So again, if you happen to be in this area, be aware. If you're driving, find shelter somewhere that has a roof, but not under a bridge or overpass. If you're home, park your car in the vehicle or park your vehicle in a garage, should I say, and stay away from windows. We don't want to be anywhere windows. Let's look at lightning just so we're here, just to make sure that that's not also the only hazard. We also have this hazard of some lightning. Looks like strikes have increased with this activity. Now we're up to about 111, 112. So again, if you're out and about trying to take pictures, it's not a good idea with all this lightning that's occurring with this storm as it continues to push to the east northeast. Just for fun, just turn off again. Just turn off. Let's see what this looks like on satellite. Let's see if I can bring it up here and see if we can get some good satellite imagery out of this. Not going to be able to do that on that one. Let's do IR. And you can see there's the blossom right there of this storm as it continues to push east northeast. Got some pretty awful looking cell structure in it. So this is not something to kind of sneeze at. The storm is warned for a reason. So again, be aware that we are under a severe thunderstorm warning until 8:15. Let me go ahead and take off radar now so we can, I'm sorry, satellite, so we can kind of see this. And again, let's reiterate 8:15 for this guy right here. Actually, it's now been extended. Looks like we have multiple severe warnings now. So the actual storm here initially that we were looking at is now till 8:15. Let me make sure. Let's click on that one. So this cell right here, this guy for the northern, essentially the northern areas of Bexar County, is till 8:15 for hail up to 1.25 and 60-mile-an-hour winds. Now it looks like we have an additional storm that's severe thunderstorm. Let me kind of zoom out so I can kind of see it. So this guy right in here has just been issued, and it's for, again, a severe thunderstorm warning. Let me kind of go zoom in on it. And it is for hail up to 2 inches, 60-mile-an-hour winds, and up to 845. So if you're in the southern area of Bexar County, let's say, I'm trying to find it here. So if you're generally south of Stone Oak, in Hill Country Village, Universal City, St. Hedwig, China Grove, Kirby, San Antonio downtown, Lackland Air Force Base. If you're in this general area right here, and let's bring it out. So if you're in San Antonio proper, Olmos Park, Alamo Heights, Terrell Hills, Kirby, Windcrest, Converse, Live Oak, Universal City, and Schertz. If you're in any of these areas, you're under this new severe thunderstorm warning that's just been issued for up to 2-inch hail and 60-mile-an-hour winds possible. But again, it's for this general area that we're pointing out right here: San Antonio, Olmos Park, Alamo Heights, Terrell Hills, Kirby, Windcrest, Converse, Live Oak, Universal City, and Schertz. You have a severe thunderstorm warning until 8:45 for this guy right here, just cell right here. You can see why it's a little mean looking on the south side than the north side. So again, let's bring up the northern area. And as you can see, that one is up till 8:15. And let me bring up the cities for that. This northern one is for Shavano Park, Hollywood Park, Stone Oak, and Timberwood Park. If you happen to be in that area, look for the potential of some hail of up to 1.25 inch. I know it says 2 inches here, and I know it's a little confusing, but this is the southern end of the severe thunderstorm warning, and this is the northern end of the severe thunderstorm warning that's showing up to 1.25. So essentially, if you're on the northern area, you're under severe thunderstorm warning for hail up to 1.25. If you're on the central and southern areas of southern areas of San Antonio, and I mean southern relatively, compared to the northern area, you're under a severe thunderstorm warning for up to 2-inch hail again. So let's see why that particular warning was issued, and let's bring up the estimated hail size, and you can see exactly why this particular severe warning right here by Lackland Air Force is getting the severe thunderstorm warning of up to, and according to Mail radar, you're getting 2.5 inch hail. Looks like Bernie got up to 2 inch hail earlier, so these storms are nothing to sneeze at, folks. Some pretty good hail coming in, and this particular cell heading towards downtown. Radar is estimating up to 3 inch hail, and even 3.5. Some of that could be just a little off on the radar side, but let's not play around. If you're in just north of 90, and I'm going to go ahead and try to see if I can have my program help me out again here. We're going to do the start. So if you are, let me turn off the probe. If you are, here we go. If you are on Highway 90 and 151, and if you're on Southwest 36th Street and Old Highway 90, if you're in these general areas, San Joaquin Avenue, San Eduardo Avenue, if you're in any of these areas north of 90, you got a pretty good hail core right on top of you. And this is between 90 and 410, so just south of Balcones Heights. Let's put that into motion as we continue to see that this is moving essentially to the northeast, east-northeast, give or take. So again, Allende Romero Road, if you're right here to the west of I-10 and just south of 421, actually southwest of 421 and north of 90, you have a pretty good hail core right in here. And this looks like Castroville Road right here and Old Highway 90 right in there. You looks like a pretty good hail core right in there. Let's go back to the west of that, southwest of that. So Lackland, you're right in here. Excuse me. This is 410. This is 90. And we have another hail core right here that radar is indicating of up to 3 inch hail. And again, this is for the area of just south of 90, excuse me, west of Ray Ellison Boulevard. And so you're in the area of, let me see, I'm trying to get some roads here that are capable of getting some roads. It looks like I'm not able to get most of the roads, but Medina Base Road right in here. If you're on Medina Base Road, southeast of 90, west of 16, looks like some pretty good hail right in there. And again, we're going to focus on this area towards the center of San Antonio, just to the west of I-10, riding Old Highway 90. Here's spur 421. Here's Highway 90 here. And this is State 151. So right in this general area, you're getting some pretty good hail in that general vicinity. So please take cover your vehicles, cover shelter, of course, shelter your vehicles. Stay away from windows. If you're driving, now's a good time to pull away. If you're on 345 and 87 I-10, now's a good time to pull off to the side of the road and find some shelter as this storm continues to push to the northeast. And let's see here. We have this other storm down here. So let's go ahead and go back to reflectivity. And this storm here, the one that's severe warned, to the north may end up getting allowed to expire. It looks like it's weakened quite a bit. So I'm not looking at any kind of potential major hail issues on the northern edge of the storm. So Shavano Park, Hollywood Park, Stone Oak, you may get some potential small hail, but with this particular area that's moving to the northeast, but our main concern now is to the south, this area down here, where it looks like even potentially baseball hail, size hail is possible with this activity. So again, this is north of, just west of San Antonio proper, but it's moving to the northeast. So Castle Hills, Balcones Heights, be aware that you're going to have some pretty good noisy hail upcoming soon. Let's go ahead and put that into motion. And so again, south of Balcones Heights at the moment, Alamo Heights, you're probably going to be in the path. Let's go ahead and see if we can get an update of who, and I'm sorry for the lettering there. Let's go ahead and clear that if we can. There we go. Almost Park, Alamo Heights. So 810 for Almost Park, 812 for Alamo Heights, Terrell Hills 813, Kirby 820, Windcrest 824, Converse 831, Live Oak 832, Universal City at 836, Shirts 838, Cibolo 843. These again are approximate based on current storm uh, intensity and speed. But as you can see, and let's go here to this upper core, essentially the same, including now New Braunfels and Marcus, again, should the storm continue to progress. But it looks like the strongest part of the storm has now shifted to the west of downtown, and the areas to the north, down up here, has actually weakened quite a bit. This severe thunderstorm that has been issued until 8:45 now says up to 2-inch hail. Looks like we now have an additional severe thunderstorm warning now a little bit further north than what it was earlier for this area right in here. And let's go ahead and get that guy in. This one does include for potentially 2 3/4 inch hail. We're looking if you're in Balcones Heights, Alamo Heights, Terrell Hills, Windcrest, Converse, Live Oak, Universal City, Shirts, New Braunfels, and San Marcos. If the storm were to continue to hold off, that is the storm that could be dumping up to 2 3/4 inch hail. Again, that's just north of downtown. So, and then the storm just underneath that, the cell for the underneath that one is for Almost Park. That one is for, and let me see if I can get that one for us. That one is for 2-inch hail potential. And that includes Almost Park, Alamo Heights, Terrell Hills, Kirby, Windcrest, Converse, Live Oak, Universal City, Shirts, and Cibolo. Areas to the north, you're no longer, if you're on Timberwood Park, looks like just the tad of Stone Oak is under a severe thunderstorm warning. But if you're on the west side of this, looks like Blanco Road here. So if you're on Blanco Road on Stone Oak and this general area to the west, you're going to be fine in terms of any kind of severe weather. Dominion, you're going to be fine. Gray Forest, Elotes, all you guys on the west side at this point look to be okay. The actual storms we're concerned about are the cells are right here towards downtown San Antonio. The worst place where any hail can fall is right around downtown. So if you have not done so, garage your car and stay away from windows. If you're in a high rise with windows, stay away from those windows. Anywhere with windows in the direction of that, please be aware of that. So don't worry about this message at the right. That's just me because I'm pushing the computer to a limit. But again, if you happen to be right in this general area right here, some pretty heavy rain and hail being reported. And let's see if we can go ahead and go to mesh and or mech as they call it. And let's bring up some, so up to 2-inch hail just to the northwest of downtown San Antonio, just southeast of Balcones Heights. And we're looking at 1.5 to 2-inch hail potential, riding up pretty much Highway 90 up to 151 just to the north of that. Lackland looks like you're getting some hail right about now, potentially 1.5, and looks like Highway 46 by Deep Hollow and Bernie got some pretty good, almost looks like beyond golf ball size hail. So again, this is not storms that are messing around. They're dumping some pretty good hail. Downtown San Antonio, be aware again that this activity is essentially moving in your direction, and we're looking at potentially 1.5-inch hail here and almost 2-inch hail to the north, riding up on I-10 as it heads towards 410 on the northwest side of downtown San Antonio. All this activity is pushing off to the northeast, east-northeast. So if you happen to be in this general area right in here, Castle Hills, Alamo Pike, Kirby, Windcrest, these general areas down in this end, downrange, be aware that there's some pretty good hail coming up for your area. So I'm going to turn off radar for a second, see if that helps turned off some of that activity there. And again, we're getting some hail reports, not seeing any additional. So again, if you happen to be in an area that has some hail and go ahead and report it using the EWX spotter hashtag and on Twitter if it's safe to do so, as we continue to monitor these storms as they push off to the east northeast.
You're watching Bexar County Severe Weather live.
So we're back again as we continue to monitor this severe cell as it continues to move to the east northeast at around 20 to 40 miles an hour. Looks like some of that has kind of weakened a little bit, but again, there is a severe thunderstorm, actually two of them, really close to each other. On the northern end, we have this one until 8:15 p.m. for hail up to 2 3/4 size potential. And then on the southern end, we have this particular severe thunderstorm warning until 8:45 for hail up to 2 inches. And go ahead, Martin.
Yeah, the current the hail core where the largest hail is at, is around the inner west side, Loma Vista, Our Lady of the Lake University areas. If you're familiar with that, or St. Mary's, Woodlawn Lake, get ready because the large hail is either right about to hit you or right on top of you right now. Anyone else further out? If you're from Cattleman Square, the Beacon Hill area, if you know, almost up to Balcones Heights, Wonderland Mall, anywhere along there, Patranco Road, anywhere along 345, you're going to be seeing the large hail coming your way. It's been large and it's been damaging to places, so be ready for it.
Yeah, we can't stress this enough, guys. This is actually a pretty damaging situation. We already had some hail and severe weather earlier last week, so this is just adding to the woes for those of you that already had suffered some severe weather activity last week. That we continue to have this particular hail continue to fall. I'm going to bring up the maximum estimated hail size one more time. I think for now I'm going to stay that. And unfortunately, I know I'm still having some issues with this guy here, but I'm going to still continue to use our labeling here. So if you're right on Blanco, okay, so let's bring this in. Let's go ahead and take it step by step. South of 410, Castle Hills is right here. 410 is right here. So if you're on McCullough Avenue, Blanco Road, and you're in the area of Burnwood, Brookview, if you're over here on Bassey Road and Contour Road, you got some pretty good hail falling just northwest of Almost Park. So there's that guy right there. Let's zoom down some more. And if we move down to, and forget my computer freaking out with RAM usage, don't worry about it. I-10 on here. And if you're on State 421, again, Texas Avenue, Waverly Avenue, and here's State 421. If you're just to the east of General McMullen Drive on 421, some pretty good hail falling in that direction. If you're on Castroville Road and say McMullen Drive, right in here, General McMullen, you're getting some pretty good hail. But now let's really push down to the south of there on Highway 90. If you're on Roselawn on Highway 90, next to McMullen and next to what looks like Couples Road and Sam Houston Boulevard, right in here, you got some pretty good hail falling in this direction of up to maybe 2.5 hail being estimated by radar. We have additional hail that's falling down to the south of the downtown area, almost approaching 1 inch. So if you're on looks like 13, writing on 13 there, looks like you're gonna have some hail up to 1 inch there on 281, riding the 37 281 interchange up towards downtown. Looks like you may have some potential up to 1 inch hail potential there. Now let's actually go into downtown and we go down in here. And so let's go ahead and turn the actual probe. This is Presa right here. So if you're under the underpass, right under I-10 right here, if you're on Lone Star Boulevard, just north of I-10 and Roosevelt Avenue, you got some pretty good hail potential falling right there. On the east side of 281, if you're on Cherry Street, just south of Commerce Street, Could potentially be seeing some hail right in there as well. So Cherry Street and looks like Florida, Carolina, and Essex Streets and Hackberry, generally right in this area, you're potentially seeing some potential hail that could be up to an inch or so. So again, these are the main primary areas we're looking at right here between Castle Hills and Alamo Heights. We have just some pretty good little hail core right in here. Obviously, the more dangerous area is right here, or the more damaging area, should I say, is right in there on the purple side right here, just south of 90 and west of 371. So Lackland, you're fine. 410 on the west side by 90, you're fine. It's the area right in here that we're particularly concerned about for that heavy hail that's falling as we speak. Let me go back to actual radar one more time and let's see what we got. So again, the major hail issue now happens to be around the downtown area, Alamo Heights, Windcrest. You're going to start seeing it in a bit. China Grove, you're going to start seeing it a bit as well. Kirby as well, Converse as well. This general area is what's got the heavy rain and potential up to 1 inch hail. If you're on the south side of this, on this end, on 371, you could be seeing potentially higher amounts of hail. Northern areas, you're just seeing some rain, so we're not even going to worry about Timberwood Park and Stone Oak, although technically Stone Oak and points east, which include Hollywood Park, under a severe thunderstorm warning. But really what we're looking at is right in here where the general central area of San Antonio is getting the severe weather and hail of up to 2 inch potential there. And let's see, that's 2 inch on that one, and we're still at 2 3/4 inches on this one right in here. So essentially up to 2 to 2 3/4 inch hail possible for this area right in here. Although hopefully the storm is starting to weaken. We do have some fail reports. Not seeing any new ones come in, so we're going to go ahead and turn that off and help out a little bit on the computer there. But again, if you see if you're in generally anywhere in this red box right in here, you're going to be in for a chance for some pretty good hail coming in. And what do we got here? It looks like now we've been upgraded to, what do we got here? I'm trying to look like, looks like north of us. No, actually, it looks like we've now been updated to slight on our Special Storm Prediction Center has now upgraded us to a slight risk of severe weather. So sometimes it's hard to see with everything in. So we're going to turn off radar and let's verify. And here we are. We are now under a slight risk for severe weather. That is an upgrade from what we were earlier, which was nothing. So actually, I think we were marginal in some areas. So now we are now up to a slight risk for severe weather. And I'm assuming that's going to be through the end of tonight into tomorrow until the cold front moves through. This is, I believe, is due to the dry line that's to our west. What we got to watch for is we still got severe weather, and I'm going to turn on some regional radar here. We still got severe weather to our north, right up here by Snyder and just southwest of Lubbock. And this is associated with a cold front. This right here is associated with essentially a trough or a dry line issue. So Sherman, even up in Dallas, they're getting it pretty good, especially just south of Dallas. Looks like right next to Corsicana, they're getting some tornado warned issues up there. Our issues down here seem to be more severe in terms of hail. So this is part one, or should I say round one, the potential severe weather that we're going to get now that we're under the slight risk. And so we're now concerned that currently this storm is dropping quite a bit of hail across the city, especially central areas of downtown towards Olmos Park and down towards just south of downtown China Grove. You're under potentially that severe threat, as well as Kirby. You look like you're going to be right in the middle of that. Windcrest as well. Alamo Heights, you're probably feeling some of that now. Converse as well. Let's go ahead and bring up we're going to continually refer to the radar estimate of hail that's potentially falling. And we're looking at anywhere between 1 and potentially 2-inch almost hail right around the downtown area. Again, if you're in this general area, now's the time to put in your vehicle in the garage. And actually, it's probably too late now as this hailstorm continues to push off to the east northeast. However, you're in China Grove, if you're in Kirby, Windcrest, Alamo Heights, Terrell Hills, just be aware that this storm is moving in that general direction. I'm going to try to see if I can load up. I know it's probably trying to update here. Trying to see if we can get this to update real quick. Hopefully we didn't run off any. Nope, looks like we're going to be off on that one. Let me see if I can get some other stuff here. Let's see if we can get this loaded one more time. There we go. So again, just southwest of Kirby, just west of China Grove. Watch out for this activity as it continues to push now. Looks like more to the east. So if that continues, I guess when I run it in motion, it's when we have the issue. So let's go ahead and do that real quick. Let's go ahead and put it back to reflectivity and see if we can get it going again. Sorry for the breakup here, guys. We're definitely using quite a bit of memory and trying to get this information going here. What we may end up doing is, unless you got any more reports, Martin, maybe we can go ahead and restart the program so we can get the radar going back again. Let me try MRMS just real quick, see if that brings it up. And let's see if we can get the actual reflectivity going one more time and see if we can get at least some radar up while we continue to watch this as it continues. So it looks like we're going to do a restart of the program. Apparently we run it to its limit. We'll be right back momentarily. All right, guys, we're back. Thank you for waiting. Thankfully, the computer loaded up pretty quick. As you can see, our storm continues to push off to the east now, and looks like some of the major heavy activity is starting to weaken just a tad. So hopefully the actual hail sizes that we were reporting earlier have actually as well diminished. Let's go ahead and bring up the actual maximum estimated hail size again. And unfortunately, we're still looking at potentially 2.5 inches just between 35 and 10 on the northeast side, just southwest of Kirby, as well on the eastern side of just downtown, pretty much seeing 1-inch hail and above as this activity continues to push off to the east northeast at about 20 to 30 miles an hour. So we're going to go ahead and bring it back up to velocity, turn that on one more time, load that up. And you can see that that's the only storm we're concerned about. Now, what's interesting, and let me go ahead and turn on all the actual warnings again. We're now down to one warning in effect for San Antonio, and essentially it's for this cell right here that is moving essentially to the east-northeast, and it's for the 2-inch hail. So who exactly may be affected? It'll be Olmos Park, Alamo Heights, Terrell Hills, Kirby, Windcrest, Converse, Live Oak, Universal City, Schertz, and Cibolo. If you're in any of these cities, be aware that this storm is headed in that direction and could be dropping some pretty good amount of hail in your area as it continues to move to the east, northeast. It looks like now it's been upgraded down, or should I say downgraded, to potentially 1.5-inch hail in this general area, essentially just south of Hollywood Park on 1604 to just north of 410 on the south side. Sorry, just hit my earphones here. Again, the eastern areas of downtown are now to be affected. Alamo Heights, Kirby as well. Let me bring this in closer if I can. Terrell Hills looks like San Antonio Zoo as well. If you're in those general areas, you are now in the heaviest activity as it continues to push to the east-northeast. Let's see if I can get you an actual estimate of speed. This storm is moving about 30 miles an hour, give or take, to the east as this particular cell continues to push off. Additional light rains to the north, hardly anything to the south. Again, the actual other severe storm that we were watching earlier is now just to the west of Blanco. Not seeing any additional activity to the west. I'm going to bring up to see we're still under a watch. And yes, it looks like it's been cut off a little bit, but we continue to be under the severe thunderstorm watch until 11 p.m. Tonight for potential hail of up to 3 inches and 70-mile-an-hour winds. But again, at the moment, we're not seeing any additional development to the west, but this could be for the activity to our northwest that could potentially affect us later on with that cold front. So back down to the cell that we're watching. Again, if you're experiencing any hail or any severe weather, be sure to use the hashtag EWX spotter to report that on Twitter for anybody out there, especially our National Weather Service friends, that they're aware that such hail is being reported as we speak. So we continue to watch the storm as it continues to push off to the east-northeast. And again, if you're in Alamo Heights, you look like at around 824 could be where you may be affected. Terrell Hills at 825, Kirby 830, Converse 839, Randolph Air Force Base 844, Marion at 858, and then we're going to push off away from our jurisdiction, but we're going to continue to say New Berlin, should I say, 9 o'clock, McQueenie, I'm sorry, 909, and Seguin at 916. Should this storm continue to push off to the east in the current direction and intensity, I am seeing additional, what looks like some heavy echoes right just by Kirby. I'm going to kind of probe that and bring down I can find it again. Here we go. Looking at potentially even up to 3-inch hail falling just by northwest of China Grove now. I thought I saw Kirby earlier. But if you're on 410, right before the 90 I-10 loop, I-10 interstate, right in here, you're going to see quite a bit of hail, potentially right in the middle of that as well, north of 87 as well. So right in here is the heaviest hail for this particular cell there. And if you're on the southwest side, right to the writing on just north of 13 and to the west of 37, to the east of 536, looking at some pretty heavy hail right in here as well. So these are the two main areas now that we're keeping an eye on for that heavy hail that is falling as we speak. So again, south of 90 or right on 90 by 410, right in that interchange, be aware that this cell of containing some potentially pretty heavy hail is on its way towards your direction. And if you're on 87 as well, could see some hail as well. And then we're looking at this pocket down here to the west of 281, riding up just north of what looks like 13. Could see some heavy hail right as well. So this is now turned into basically just a hail issue, as we've had pretty much all night. And we're getting another report here, Port of San Antonio. Most of it was pea-sized, but as you can see, we're getting quite a bit of hail, differentiating from, looks like an egg right in there in the middle. But different types of hail are being reported across the city. So this will definitely be a potential issue with damages as we continue through the rest of the evening. And again, it looks like my program is just freaking out with everything going on. So I'll stand by one more time. All right, guys. Thanks. Sorry for the interruption. I guess the computer is having a hard time trying to keep up with everything we're trying to do here. But we'll definitely look at that as we continue. Again, just south of Kirby, right in here on the I-10 line is the actual area that looks like we're getting some pretty good hail, riding up on 13 and 87. Just between these areas right here is what we're looking at, where the major hail appears to be falling with this activity as it continues to move to the east-northeast at about 10 to 20 to 30 miles an hour. Again, this is a severe warm cell with hail potentially up to 1.5 inches. The 60-mile an hour winds is possible, but right now it looks like really the actual hail is the main issue. Let's go ahead and again bring up the maximum estimated hail size. And again, we're looking at right here about 2.5 inches potential right on the I-10 interchange, right between 87 and the I-10 interchange right here is possible. And again, just south of China Grove to the southwest, looks like we can even potentially see 3-inch hail there as well. And looks like an additional severe thunderstorm warning has now been activated to the south of the cell we were looking at earlier, right here. So Elmendorf, you looks like you're now part of this cell. I'm sorry, the severe warn area, as well as doesn't include you, but I'm almost going to say St. Hedwig, you're probably right squeezed in there as well. As this cell continues to push off to the east. And I believe this guy right here is the reason why the southern severe storm warning has been issued. So again, China Grove, St. Hedwig, and La Vernia, you may be, you're in the path for this potential cell that may be dropping up to 1.5 inch hail. Let's see here. Let's just make sure it is actually up to 2-inch hail for this southern one, and up to 1.5 inch hail for the northern one, although this looks to have more of a hail core on this end. So if you're on 1604, but basically between 14 and 1604 on I-10, right there is the heaviest activity and where the heaviest hail appears to be falling. Again, this newly issued severe thunderstorm warning that now includes the southern areas of St. Hedwig, Elmendorf, and those areas for this cell potentially down to here that could be dropping up to 2-inch hail as well. Those are the only two severe thunderstorm warnings in effect for the county at this time as we continue to watch this storm, this cell, move to the east, northeast at about 20 to 30 miles an hour. Again, we continue to watch this cell, these severe thunderstorms warnings continue as this one huge cell essentially pushes off to the northeast or east at about 10 to 20 miles an hour. Again, this area right here is the one we're looking at for the potential heaviest activity, which is right on 410 and the I-10 interchange on the west side, just south of Kirby, northwest of China Grove. That's the area we're watching for that heaviest activity and hail that could be falling. And again, we're going to take a look again at the expected or estimated hail sizes, and it's up there in the 2.5-inch range again on this side. Any other reports by any chance, feel free to send them in on your comments. We continue to watch for those, and we continue to watch for this cell to hopefully eventually just skedaddle. We need this cell to essentially weaken, but we can only imagine the amount of damage the hail has already caused. As a matter of fact, let's bring up the hail swath for the last 2 hours. Let's go ahead and bring up the hail swath for the last 2 hours. And you can see, I'm going to turn off radar. You can see the path of the hail that it's taken tonight. This is for the last 2 hours, not counting where the storm is now. You can see the areas around Bexar County that have been affected by hail. And according to this, up to 1.5-inch hail here and almost up to 2 inches. And it's almost up to 2 inches in some parts, but at least in the 1-inch to 1.5-inch range for the most part, from like Lackland to almost near downtown. So I would assume there's quite a bit of damage to property out there in this general area from 410 and especially over here by the 210 north of 90 area, but definitely by Lackland Air Force Base and west of downtown. Looks like we got some pretty good hail, and I can only imagine quite a few insurance claims will be submitted in the next couple of days as this severe storm continues to push off to the east. And again, now both of them are showing for the potential of both warnings look for showing for the potential of 2-inch hail as this storm continues to push to the east. Let's see here. I'm going to put it in motion and let it go for a second. And this is the edge right here. This is the edge of the county right in here. So we still got a little bit to go for St. Hedwig, China Grove, Kirby. You're almost on the leading edge. China Grove, you got a little bit more to go. Almendorf, you may get a potential build up to your north, but essentially this looks to be more of a China Grove, Kirby, and St. Hedwig storm that may be headed in your direction. And this obviously has a history of dropping quite a bit of hail as it continues to move to the east at about 20 to 30 miles an hour. And we're going to zoom in just one more time again to this area right here on I-10, just to the west of 410. This area right in here is showing the heaviest activity, potentially dropping some pretty good hail right to the southeast of Kirby on I-10 and to the west of to the east of 410. Looks like the rest of the activity is mostly subsevere and just some heavy rainfall. Let's look at some lightning. See if we're still getting lightning out there. Looks like the lightning activity has dropped a little bit since earlier, which is essentially some pretty good news, hopefully. Let me look at here. Let's see here. Turn that off, turn that on again. So yeah, we're getting some decent lightning still, but it looks like it has weakened somewhat from what we had earlier as the storm was coming in from the west. But again, if you are outside, don't try to take pictures or take a look at the storm. There's some pretty dangerous lightning still occurring with the storm as it continues to move to the east northeast at about 20 to 30 miles an hour. And essentially, a main issue is the actual hail. And I'm going to bring back that. And this area right in here, just west of 410 and 87 on I-10, is the area that we're more concerned about for that heaviest hail that's falling potentially with a storm, which is just southeast of Kirby and northwest of China Grove. We're going to put this in motion one more time, and you can see that it still continues to race off a little bit to the east. Now it looks like more of a due east direction. And if you're in the area of China Grove and St. Hedwig, this is heading in your direction as we speak. So we continue to watch. Additionally, no additional activity to our west. Looks like we're in the clear on that end. So it looks like just this particular cell that we're trying to get through as quickly as possible to help minimize any potential damage that may be occurring with this, although we've already seen quite a bit of hail being reported across at least central and southern areas of the county. The severe thunderstorm warning for this cell continues until 8:45 for the northern areas, and same for the southern areas. So essentially, this is one big severe thunderstorm warning right in here, right here. So if you're in this general area, you're under severe thunderstorm warning for 2-inch hail until 8:45 p.m. Winds up to 60 miles per hour also possible. But again, this storm right in here is the area that we're looking at. And actually, this area right in here is the one we're focusing our most attention on, since it shows the heaviest activity from the rest of the storm as it continues to push to the east. So what we're going to do now is take a little break. I'm going to leave this in motion. We're actually going to be zooming in a little bit. We're going to run it in. We're going to go ahead and leave the crawl in place. And we're just going to take a quick break, but we're going to leave this in motion so you can continue to see how the storm continues to evolve as it rides I-10 toward 1604, and it approaches the areas just to the northwest of St. Hedwig and the northeast of China Grove, and we'll be right back. Okay, we're back. We need a little break here. So now it looks like just south on I-10, on just before 1604 on the east side, looks like we have a pretty good flare up of activity here. Again, let's bring up the mean estimated sail size, and you can definitely see that the radar is estimating almost 3 inches of hail in this general area. Again, let's go ahead and bring up the relativity, reflectivity again. So in this general area right in here, we're looking at potentially up to 3 inch hail falling just south of I-10 on the 1604 side. So if you happen to be in this general area, seek shelter now. And or if you're driving, go ahead and pull off on the side of the road. There's nothing you can be able to do if you're driving. And if you can, prior to the storm hitting you, you might want to take a exit real quick and try to find some shelter. Looking at almost 2 inch hail by South Cross Boulevard at 937. So again, this storm is not messing around, folks. It's a pretty good hailer as it continues to move to the west. I'm sorry, east at about 20 to 30 miles an hour. And now approaching the 1604 area, just to the northwest of St. Hedwig, and just to the south, a smidge to the south of I-10. This general area right in here is probably most likely getting quite a bit of hail at this point, and some of it is up to the 2 inch mark, as we've already seen. I'm going to turn on any kind of storm reports to see what others. So let's go ahead and go over some of these storm reports that have come in already. So we're looking at almost 2 inch storm report just to the north of I-10, just to the east of Kirby, just to the southeast of Alamo Heights, one and almost another 2 inch hail report there. Right on the border of what looks like 1604, looks like 321, and to the west of 410, looks like an inch hail right in there. Right on the line of 281 to the east, almost an inch and a quarter. Downtown, almost an inch of hail there. 2 inch hail just to the south of downtown, and just on I-10 to the west side, just to a little bit north of downtown, 1 inch of hail. So essentially a variety of reports coming in of the hail, depending on how the storm pulses as it continually moves to the east. But clearly, we got some sub-severe hail of 8/10 of an inch, up to one almost 2 inches in other areas. So again, the kind of hail that we're getting is varied size from sub-severe to 2 inches. So definitely something to continue to keep in mind as this severe storm continues to push off to the east, now approaching the 1604 area, riding just south of I-10 on the east side. So St. Hedwig, watch out. China Grove looks like most of that heavy activity is now pushing off to your northeast as we head towards more of the eastern side. Universal City, you're in the clear. Cibolo, you're in the clear. Live Oak, you're in the clear. The actual area that's of concern now is the areas between China Grove and St. Hedwig, even though it may look like St. Hedwig may get just the brush of it, although it looks like some additional development to the south is being noted on radar. So if you're in the areas of St. Hedwig, watch out. Go ahead and stick your car into the garage and stay away from windows as this storm continues to push off to the east. Even though it's outside of our jurisdiction, New Berlin, if you're in the areas in and around New Berlin, watch out. The storm is definitely heading basically in your general direction, with up to 2 to 2.5 inch hail already being reported with this storm. So if you're in the New Berlin area or surrounding area, even though it's outside our county jurisdiction, be aware that this severe storm with some pretty good hail, large amount of hail, is moving to the northeast, to your east, to your west, to your east at around 20 to 30 miles an hour. Again, St. Hedwig, looks like you're getting about to get hit pretty good. And it looks like additional storm development and additional pockets of potential heavy rain and or hail cores have now developed as well. Again, this is to the east of China Grove, heading right towards St. Hedwig. And you're under a severe thunderstorm warning for at least a 2 inch hail. Elmendorf, you're in the clear, and areas around Elmendorf, you're in the clear. Essentially, what we're concerned about is anywhere from around Converse, but really based on radar, looking at I-10 on 1604 southward towards maybe 321, and just south of that. If you're generally in this area right in here, And if you live in generally this area over here, that is the area that we're concerned about for the heaviest rain, and mostly more concerning is the heaviest hail or the more damaging hail. So again, if you're just right in here and to the east of there, right in this circle, that's the area we're concerned about for this heavy hail and damaging hail that's continuing to move to the east at about 20 to 30 miles an hour. This is the only set of severe thunderstorm warnings that are in effect. I'm going to turn off the local storm report. We're not seeing any additional development to the west or the southwest. So that's good news on that end for now. We still have our severe warnings up to our north. Again, this is more likely due to a trough or a dry line. The actual cold front is causing this particular activity up north. And this is the activity we are going to probably have to keep an eye on by midnight or after midnight, as this cold front also continues to push down and may affect our area with some severe activity, as we should remind everybody that we are now under a slight risk of severe weather, basically for the entire county. We've been upgraded from a marginal to a slight. And just to be here as well, to remind everyone while I'm here, we now have a severe thunderstorm watch till 11 o'clock for the area of Bexar County. I have noted that the tornado watch that's up here has pushed down a little south, but this does not include anywhere near us. But it's just something to consider or watch, as this watch has kind of been up around the Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex. I noticed it kind of moved a little south, a couple of counties or so. So we're just going to continue to watch that potential. But for now, our main issue is the severe thunderstorm watch till 11 o'clock. And right now, a main concern as this storm continues to exit the county is this storm as it pushes to the east and about to hit St. Hedwig. We're going to get really close as we can. And this area of purple right in here is what's concerning us in terms of the amount of potential damaging hail that's currently falling riding pretty much now 1604 and just north of 87 on that side, and I-10 on the north side. If they're in this general area between I-10 and 87, riding 1604 on the east side, and you live in St. Hedwig, you're going to be getting some pretty damaging hail as we speak in the next 5 to 10 minutes. Let me bring up the hail estimate again. So here we are, I-10. Here we are, 87. Here we are, 1604. And let's do the probe. And you're looking at 2-inch hail, almost 2.5-inch hail in the areas in purple here. And it's just to the west of St. Hedwig as it continues to push off. In the next 5 or 10 minutes, if you're in the area of St. Hedwig, you're going to get pummeled with some pretty damaging hail momentarily. So now's the time to prepare. Now's the time to take shelter. Put your cars in the garage. If you're on traveling, try to seek shelter anywhere but a bridge or overpass. But this area right here is potentially containing quite a bit of damaging hail as it continues to push off to the east about 20 to 30 miles an hour. And St. Hedwig, you're right in that line, and areas around St. Hedwig are right in that line as this storm continues to push off to the east. I'm going to see if I can bring up again in the St. Hedwig area. We're going to bring up the roads again real quick. So if you're going to do a start, here we go. So if you're on State 1604, and if you're by Abbott Road, Old Greytown Road, let's see here. Let me try to get you some other roads. Atkins St. Hedwig Road and 1604. If you're at Pittman Road and Greytown Road and Lupon Road, any of these general areas right around here, you're going to get some pretty good hail. Frudenberg Road, also getting some pretty good hail. So if you happen to be in these general areas near the St. Hedwig area, you're getting some pretty good hail as we speak, as this continues to push off to the east at about 20 to 30 miles an hour. And once this pushes through, we're not seeing anything to the west. So Converse, Hollywood Park, Stone Oak, Dominion, Helotes, Leon Valley, Lackland, Castle Hills, downtown uh, San Antonio, Alamo Heights, you're in the clear for now. The next issue we're going to have to contend with is the cold front that's going to come down after midnight. That may potentially bring additional severe weather for us. But at the moment, our main concern continues to be this guy right here, as it's now on our eastern extreme edges of the Bexar County area and just to the west of St. Hedwig. So if you happen to be watching or you have friends watching or have people in that area, might be a good time to let them know that this is on their way. They're probably already getting some moderate to heavy rain, but they're about to get hit with some pretty good hail as this storm continues to push off to the east at about 20 to 30 miles an hour. And we're estimating between, or should I say, the radar is estimating up to 2-inch hail. And as a matter of fact, let's bring up the severe thunderstorm warning. And it's now saying maybe up to 1 3/4 inch hail. So we'll just call it up to 2-inch hail just to be safe as this storm continue to push off to the east. Let's go ahead and put it into motion. And we can kind of see that it's getting really close to the St. Hedwig area. And that is it for in terms of activity across the city and across the county. So again, right here, this purple area, so just south of I-10 and north of 60, I'm sorry, 87, to the east now of 1604 for the most part, is the area we're concerned about in terms of hail, and pretty damaging hail. Again, to the north and essentially to the west and southwest of St. Hedwig, the storm continues to push off to the east at about 20 to 30 miles an hour. And you can see how it has evolved and continues to push off to the east. Again, no other warnings in play, no other activity around the San Antonio Bexar County area, just this one last bit of cell right here to the west of St. Hedwig, moving to the east at about 20 to 30 miles an hour. And again, the areas of St. Hedwig and surrounding areas are the main concern at this time. So what we're going to do is, again, let the radar run as it's close to our jurisdiction of our border. We're just going to go and let it run again. Just be aware, major hail to the north of St. Hedwig and to the southwest of St. Hedwig. Be on the and be on the lookout for any heavy rain and hail between 10 and 87 just to the east of 1604. We're going to again push this in, and we're looking at St. Hedwig at 8:53. So we're looking at potentially 6 minutes from now, and La Vernia at 9:04 p.m. If you happen to be around this general area, watch out for some heavy rains and some potentially large damaging hail. So we're going to go ahead and put this in motion and go quiet for a little bit to kind of rest up. All right, we're back, and we have one final check here as the storm continues to push off to the east at about 20 to 30 miles an hour. We have one final severe thunderstorm warning that is continually being cordoned off till 9:45 p.m. for this storm that's moving basically eastward at 30 miles an hour for hail up to 1 3/4 inches. Again, we're looking at the heaviest activity and potential dangerous hail from between I-10 and 87 and to the east of what looks like 1604. So if you're in this general area, now approaching just to the south of St. Hedwig and just to the north of St. Hedwig, you're looking at some pretty heavy rain and some pretty potentially some very damaging hail of up to 1 3/4 inches as this storm continues to push off to the east at about 30 miles an hour. Again, this severe thunderstorm warning is in effect until 9:45 p.m. As this storm races off that direction, we don't have any additional activity to worry about across the area. We're just finalizing this storm right here as it continues to push off to the east at around 30 miles an hour. Should be approaching St. Hedwig in the next 5 minutes, give or take, and La Vernia at around 10 minutes from there, around 16 minutes actually. So the storm continues to push off to the east at that velocity. Again, this area right here is a concern for the most heaviest rain and or hail that may be falling right in this. So we're actually going to remove this ticker right here as it's no longer needed. We're just watching this last potential severe cell as it continues to push off to the east at around 30 miles an hour. And again, it's for this area right here that is the dark light purples that is of concern for the most heaviest hail that this storm continues to drop. And we've already seen quite a few reports across the area of some damaging hail. Let me turn that off and bring up the local storm reports. You can just see just the number of hail reports that have been reported across the city and the county as this cell has moved in, and it varies from 2 inches to 3/10. So just a matter of where that storm hit and where it was headed. But we had 3-inch hail just to the west of downtown, definitely damaging hail that has been falling across the area. And definitely insurance companies will be quite busy tomorrow in getting all these claims done. But clearly the downtown area suffered quite a bit of hail damage potential with 2 inches. Hopefully not too many cars were parked outside. Then they were in garages or in underground garages or so forth. But let's just hope that all this area right here, the cars were in the shelter they needed to be in order to avoid this potential damage of very heavy hail reports that are being reported. We also had some pretty good hail off on the west side as well, and we even got to see some good pictures of that as well. But it looks like now the storm is starting to push off to the east, and it looks like the heaviest activity is now approaching the most eastern areas of our county, and now the actual clearing line is approaching the 1604 on a expressway or highway, whatever you want to call it, on the east side. So again, the storm is racing to the east around 20 to 30 miles an hour, and you can see that it's essentially moving out of the county as it continues to push off. Still potentially seeing some heavy rain and hail right in here, and as well as just to the southwest of St. Hedwig. Looks like we could be seeing some heavy pockets of hail and potentially damaging hail. But clearly the main story is going to be tomorrow, the amount of heavy and damaging hail that has fallen across Bexar County, especially in the downtown area, in and around the downtown area. Definitely some roofs probably damaged, as well as some vehicles and windshields. So no doubt insurance companies are going to be extremely busy, if they haven't been already. But now for sure, they're going to be extremely busy the next couple of days to try to take care of those claims. And I'm sure those vehicle dent repair places probably going to be very busy as well, as this activity continues to push off to the east. And it looks like now more to the northeast of St. Hedwig. So it looks like potentially St. Hedwig may have dodged the bullet a little bit. We'll find out tomorrow, but for sure, right in here is the heaviest activity, now pretty much pushing off to the east towards New Berlin, which is adjacent to our county. So if you're in the Marion, this is it here, not even Marion. So you're between Marion and New Berlin. Watch out for this cell that has the history of producing some very, very large hail and some pretty good rain as well. It may track south of Seguin, but if you happen to be more concerned now is going to be the New Berlin area. There could be some hail in and around that general area as this storm continues to push off to the east at about 10 to 20 miles an hour. Pretty soon, about to exit Bexar County. Again, here's the clearing line right around the 1604 area on the east side, riding I-10. So again, this area right in here is the final part of this storm as it continues to push off to the east, and we continue to have a severe thunderstorm warning for this general area until 9:45. Although at this point, as the storm continues to push off, I will probably no doubt see this area right in here continue to be cordoned off on that warning. But again, if you're on the western side, Converse, China Grove, Lackland, downtown San Antonio, you're picking up the pieces right now. Alamo Heights, Castle Hills, Leon Valley, Lackland Air Force, Hollywood Park, Garden Ridge, Live Oak, all those areas, you're generally in the clear. Stone Oak, Dominion, Timberwood Park, Elotes, all your areas to the left, to the west of this storm, you're in the clear. No more issues for now regarding the severe weather. But this guy right here is now exiting the county as we speak and taking all the bad hail and severe weather with it. So again, unfortunately, it looks like we'll be dealing with some pretty good hail reports and hail damage. Looks like we may be having potential redevelopment right here by downtown San Antonio. Let me turn on. Let's just make sure that's not something else. Potentially could be some additional redevelopment. We'll keep an eye on it just to be safe. But at the moment, it looks like this is the main storm that we're looking at as again pushes to the east. Just now about to approach New Berlin in terms of the most heaviest activity. And let's see anything else over here. Let's go ahead and get another look at the hail tracks for the last 2 hours, and you can just go ahead and turn off radar and you can kind of just see how just a mammoth of a hail track this storm has done. And let's just kind of quickly go over some of the totals the radar's projecting. And it looks like right around downtown it may have dropped off to subsevere, but then it picked up again. So definitely some pretty good hail. Let me go ahead and bring up the 6-hour track, let that load up a little bit. And again, it basically affected central and southern areas, south central, should I say, of the Bexar County area, anywhere from 1.5 inches to almost 2 inches, right to the west of downtown, and then back to the almost 2 inches on the east of downtown. So definitely quite a bit of area down in this area that got some large and damaging hail from this storm as it continued to push off to the east. Let's bring up reflectivity one more time. And let's bring up that right at the edge of the eastern areas of the county. Again, experiencing the most heaviest activity. Looks like just some moderate rain now, some light to moderate, maybe a little bit of heavy rain by St. Hedwig, but it looks like that's quickly diminishing. Now we're looking at the clear line right to the west of St. Hedwig as this storm continues to push off to the east. And now apparently the heaviest activity just to the northwest of New Berlin. Again, not seeing any additional activity to the west. So we are going to continue just as soon as this activity clears the St. Hedwig area. Red as the line hits the St. Hedwig area. We'll just monitor that just for any potential last minute development, and then we'll go ahead and end our coverage. That was surprising. We were not expecting to go online tonight, considering that the cap was holding its own, but it looks like it eroded towards the evening hours enough for a couple of storms to become severe and unfortunately bring some hail to the basically central areas of San Antonio. So there are definitely going to be some problems and concerns and issues with that tomorrow as the damage is totaled and go from there. But at this point, while that severe thunderstorm warning is in effect, it looks like the worst of the activity is now pushing off to the east and now uh, no longer being a concern to the Bexar County area. We're now left with just some uh, moderate to heavy rain in the St. Hedwig area. But other than that, I think overall this severe threat has essentially diminished. Again, the extreme eastern areas of Bexar County are getting whatever heavy rain and hail may be coming from this particular cell, which apparently has not decided to let up as it continues to move eastward. But again, looks like the most of the heaviest activity is now pushed off to the east and north of St. Hedwig. So we're going to wait for one more radar scan to come in to just see where we are in terms of any last minute potential development or updates on the hail. And should that activity show that things have calmed down, we're going to go ahead and end the coverage for tonight. We definitely appreciate your support and your reports throughout the night in trying to keep up with the storm. And again, it's unfortunate that some of us will have to deal with some hail damage and some pretty significant hail damage per this particular severe cell that moves through. Again, I'm going to put this into motion and definitely see that the storm is now essentially moving out of, at least the heaviest part is moving out of our county. We're left with some just moderate to heavy rain around St. Hedwig. So we're going to go ahead and end our coverage for tonight for this particular event. Again, our apologies and our condolences for any potential severe hail or damage you may have occurred tonight. Hopefully our reporting helped you try to keep safe and your property safe as well. But for now, we're going to go ahead and turn it off and continue our coverage on Twitter. Should we continue to have some additional activity from the cold front as it passes through later on tonight at 12 or after midnight, if it so warrants our live coverage, we'll go ahead and come back for that. But again, we thank you very much for joining us on our coverage. Hopefully the damages around the city were not as bad as radar is saying it was. And we'll continue to monitor the situation as we head through the evening. For now, stay safe. Again, thanks for joining us. And this is Bexar County Severe Weather signing off.